Assalamualaikum. So we are from group the Brainiacs. This group consists of 4 group members, which are me, Mohamad Huzaifah bin Azman, Asma Salsabila binti Mohamad Yunos, Nurmazli Azrin binti Mohamad Razali, and lastly is Nursyahira Sabrina binti Mohamad Sukri. The background of our project is that we are trying to form the existing e-learning into a mobile application. This is due to the problem identified from the website version of e-learning, where some problems were encountered by the students and also lecturers. This mobile version of e-learning can be fully utilized as it is being fully mobile for the users without needing them to bring their laptops or even to find any computer labs to only use e-learning. Problems where students keep on missing their submissions or forgetting the deadlines can be overcome, where students can trace their submissions or deadlines easier. This is because all of the information is available from their personal mobile phones. Also, users can easily get the information from e-learning anywhere and anytime they like. Even a simple but important information such as their sections or course code of the subjects that they have taken.
In this app, we have adopted MVVM, Model View Model for the front end, and MVC, Model View Controller for the back end. The basic idea of MVVM is to create a view model that will provide data to the view. The view can use the data provided by view model to populate itself. For example, the dashboard data.dart, which is the model, will provide data to the dashboard.dart, which works as the view. As for the backend, we implement the MVC architecture pattern. For example, we define the model and the controller for each of our page. We set up the Firebase for the REST API service, and we also use the middleware and not relying on the Firebase. The Firebase is solely used for the data storage. The backend code and the Firebase are at the same environment.
Okay, so for splash screen, we have splash screen.dat. So here we implement the timer. For this screen, we only set 3 seconds for the screen to load, and then after 3 seconds, the screen will be redirect to login page. So here we use navigator push replacement, so the user cannot go back to splash screen if they press back button at login page. Okay, in splash screen we have image and text. Okay, now let's try to run the application.
This is the login screen explanation. After the splash screen, it go to the login screen. In order to access the app, the user have to log in using their UTM ID and password. If they try to log in without key in their UTM ID and password, they cannot go into. So we have set the UTM ID to be Abu and the password is 123. Sorry. And then click with the UTM ID and password being set, click login. Only then they can go into the screen. And then we have wrote this app to that the user cannot go to the login screen directly. They have to log out from their account by clicking the log out. Only then they can go to back to login screen. If they try to go out directly by clicking the back button, it just bring the user out from the apps and they need to restart the apps. So that's it for login.
For this project, I am responsible for settings page and also calendar page. In here, there are several options such as dashboard, profile, message, notification, private files, calendar, archive, help, and also logout option. The navigation between the screens is by using on-generate route, which is controlled in router.dat.
Okay, now I will show how we test the request for REST API. So initially we use JSON server, and then at the last stage we choose to develop the REST API with Firebase. Okay, so now let's test our db.json. So in db.json we have courses data, students data, and message data. As you can see here, it's for example, for message we have two data for ID1 and ID2. Okay, now let's test this one. So I have changed the base URL based on my laptop IP address, and then I have already set up JSON server here. So now let's get the list of message. Okay, the status is okay, and it displays all the data for message. And then we also implement post and delete. For example, we add new data for message here. So we add ID3, name Bella, text message, hello Bell. Okay, so let's try to delete this one. Here we delete using ID variable. Okay, so the status is okay. When we get the list, then list to data. Okay, so now let's move to online Firebase. Now we test list of message data again. So we get all the list from online database, and here it will display all the data in the database, which is Salsabila, name Bella, name Abu, and name Ayman. Now let's try to add new data into the list. So for example, we put my Sarah, and the text message is hello my Sarah. Okay, now let's try to post. Okay, this is working. When we get the list again, my Sarah already added into the list. Okay, now let's try to delete this data. Okay, let's copy this ID. Okay, let's paste the ID, and then we try to delete the request. Okay, now it's already deleted. When we check in the list, there's no more my Sarah messages in here.
Now this is about the dashboard screen. So going directly into the dashboard, it will fetch the course data that the student take. So the student have web technology, software quality assurance, and networking course. Then they have this progress a linear percent indicator that indicate their current work progress. For example, if we go into the web technology course, they have 3 assignment that they need to submit. If this student submit 2 of her assignment and then click submit, the linear percent indicator shows 67% for the progress. Again, if submit all, it will be 100. Same goes to the other course. Yeah, that is for dashboard screen.
Okay, let's proceed to the profile screen. So, for the profile module, we offer 3 main functionalities. The first one is edit profile. The second one is view course list. And the last one is view user details. So for the database, we are using REST client and only 2 methods were being used. The first one is get and the second one is patch for the edit profile. So for the get method, this screen fetch 2 type of collections. The first one is student and the next one is courses. Okay, so for the student, as you can see here, the name and the matric ID is being fetched. And as for the course, we fetch the course titles. As you can see here, only 2 courses available and plus 0, meaning that the students is only taking 2 courses. So let's try to check. Okay, on the dashboard, there are only 2 courses, meaning that this data is true. So let's proceed to the other functionalities. We are going to try user details. So as you can see here, we are fetching 4 types of data for the students. This first one is the name, the matric ID, email, and also phone number. So keep in mind these values as we are going to edit it. So okay, this is the data from earlier, abu2020@gmail.com and 016985547. So let's try to input another data. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's try to input a new phone number. Okay, abu1234@gmail.com and 017457 something. Okay, save changes. And there you go. The email and phone number has been updated. So let's try to recheck back at the user details. So everything seems fine. The email has been updated, same as the phone number has also been updated.
So now I will show how the message screen works. First of all, in setting page, we click on message and it will fetch all the data from the database. Every message has its own name and text message. For example, this one, Bella, and the text message is hello Bell. So here I implement 3 REST method, which is get, post, and delete. So we already display all the data from the database using get. And then now let's try to post new data. So we click on add new message, and then we type the recipient name, for example Misha. Okay, and the text message. For example, good morning. Okay. So let's send this data. Okay, now you can see that the new message is already added to the list. And now let's see in our Firebase console. Okay, now as you can see, we have 5 data in message. So let's check. Okay, here we have the data we just post just now. Here we have Misha, good morning. Now let's try to delete the data. Okay, in here I implement delete. We can delete the data by swiping the message in any direction, right or left. So for example, this one, we swipe. Okay, so now message from Misha already deleted. Now we check in our Firebase. Okay, so now in the Firebase we have only 4 data. So this one is Salsabila, this one is Bella, Abu, and Aiman. So there's no more Misha message data. Okay, so now let's move to notification. In setting page, we click on notification and it will display all the notification for that student. So when we click on the notification, it will display the description of the noti. Okay.
For the calendar page, the student can see the month by week view, month, or 2 weeks option. The students can also add event and view the upcoming event. For add event, the student can select that from the date picker and write the event description. The add event will post the data to the Firebase, and the future builder will show the data fetched from the Firebase. Okay, now we moving on to the code structure for this e-learning app. So basically we have separated our front end and back end folder based on our chosen architecture. So this is for the front end part. We have separate. Firstly, we have service folder. So this folder contain the data service for each model that we have. So for this, we have calendar service, we have dashboard service, message service, profile data service, and then the REST service that connected to our Firebase for database. Moving on, we have the user interface folder, and in this we have the model folder that contain our model, which is calendar model, dashboard data model that have course class and assignment class, message model, message class, student class in student model. Next, for the view, starting with setting that link all the view, then have dashboard. Dashboard is connected to assignment that, and then
calendar, and then message, and then profile. Profile is connected to edit profile, that let the student to edit their profile. And then splash screen. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now moving on to the code structure for our backend folder. In this, we have function that contain the API, where we put our controller and models in here. So in our controller, we have calendar controller, course controller, message controller, and student controller. The controller for all of our model, which is the calendar model, course model, message model, and student model. Moving on to the setup database. This is our file to set up our database, where we have document of student, course, message, and calendar.